would like to thank our amazing sponsors, Touring Plans Travel. Their destination specialists work with you to plan and book your trip, whether you're traveling to a theme park, headed out on a cruise, or wanting to get away anywhere in the world. As experts in smart travel, their agents suggest the best itineraries and activities to fit your family's needs, and handle all the reservations on your behalf. There is no cost to you or your family when using Touring Plans Travel services, and you may even save some money if discounts become available after booking. So head over to touringplans.com/travel and tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney, and today we're talking about Disney's current direction, Doug.
Or the rudderless ship, possibly. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows what's happening?
Someone's steering. We're going to try to
Something's
figure it out.
happening, and we're going to be talking about that. But first, we need to give a shout out to a new Patreon, Jeff V. Thank you so much for joining the Rope Drop Radio community, getting the bonus show, the after shows, some swag, some other good things. So, and Doug, I know you have a live Patreon episode coming up.
The Zoom for the upper tiers is coming up next week. So if you're Ohana bread pudding or Mickey pretzel level, make sure you check that out.
I'm going to try and sneak on. I like when I sneak into Doug's.
You managed to. I don't think I've snuck into either.
You haven't done that to me.
We alternate months.
Yes.
We alternate months. So this August is a Doug month. September is a Derek month.
Yes. So there we go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Patrons, for supporting the show.
Yes. And another way to support the show is to leave an Apple Podcast review. Leave a 5-star review. We will read it on air eventually. All right. Here we go. This one is titled Definitely Worth Your Time. 5 stars by Jay from Texas 71. However, if I try to read it the way it's written, it's Jafrum Tech, I think, 71. I think that might be what they were going for, actually.
Okay.
All right. Derek and Doug provide great information while also keeping you entertained. Their knowledge and experience is a great tool for anyone planning a Disney vacation. Every week, I'm anxious to see what they'll discuss on the next episode. I was a D&D nerd in high school, and these two have made me a D&D, Derek and Doug, nerd all over again.
I like that.
Deep cut, Jay.
Bonus points.
Yeah.
My wife is a D&D nerd, so that's awesome.
A Derek and Doug nerd or a Dungeons
D&D,
and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons. But yes, Derek and Doug as well. She supports both.
I'm a big nerd, but I have never actually played.
I have not either. I know.
All my
I have a
friends
ton
in
of other.
college-
I'm a Star Wars board game fanatic. I have other board games, Pandemic, Catan, yes, but never D&D.
The people that have known me my whole life, when they hear that little Doug nugget that I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, they don't believe me. That's how big a nerd I am.
Who wants to start a game with Doug and I? Message us. We'll see if it ever happens.
I have no idea how it works even.
Okay.
Right. Anyway.
Sounds good. Well,
yeah,
I'll tell you what else. Here's what, thank you for the review. What else doesn't work sometimes is Disney's direction. So I had this idea and I was texting Doug when I was at Epcot.
But preface, if you don't like the topic today, blame Derek. There we go.
Yes.
Normally you can blame Doug.
Yes, I wrote this one. So
I went on strike this week.
I was at Epcot with my son Declan, and I was looking at all the giant Hamonious barges that are no more, and they had to have at least like 70 guys like tearing those things down.
And they're already putting new stuff out.
I know. So it blew my mind. I was like, wow, Disney direction. They build this thing only to take it away, just like the Galactic Starcruiser. And so it really made me think while we were running to Test Track, what is the direction right now, especially in the parks? Does Disney have a direction right now? Do we feel like we know what they're doing, or are they just kind of making up as they go? Because why spend so much money on Hamonious only to take it away, Doug? So before we even begin, I wanted to know, what do you think about the Hamonious barges being assembled and taken away like that?
I really didn't think this would go away so fast because the amount of money they spent. So the first night I saw it, it was one of the opening shows. Saw it with Touring Plans Destination Specialist, Mr. Alex Sinek. And we went back to the yacht club, sat at what is the name of the bar there? I can't remember. It's not the Yachtsman.
Ale and
It's
Compass.
Ale and Compass. While having a fine adult beverage, we discussed our first viewing of Harmonious. And I want to say Michelle and Alex put like a date, like it's only going to last X long. Spoiler alert, they're right. I was sitting there, they spent too much money. Of course, I was delirious from a whole day of walking around theme parks, and I said, they spent $1 billion. They didn't spend $1 billion on Harmonious, but they spent a lot, like hundreds of millions, right? I thought, there's no way they're going to give up. They may retool the show, but they're not going to get rid of those barges they built. How I was wrong, Derek. And like, we can't blame the CEO change for this because Harmonious was announced and started like work on it before Chapek took over. So it's Iger like was still the CEO. So you can't blame the new CEO on closing it when he was the CEO because it took more than 2 years to produce, put together, and then run and then dismantle. I don't know.
It was only running for a very short amount of time. For how much work, effort, you think the R&D that they put into it,
Oh my
which,
gosh, right?
which makes me really wonder what was Disney's direction and motive? Why spend a lot of money on these floating tacos only to
But they
tear
didn't
them down?
float. They're not even floating tacos. They're so expensive.
Yes. So that made me wonder about this show. What is Disney's direction? What are they doing right now? What are they thinking? And so, direction starts with leadership. And you mentioned his name. Bob Iger just
Mm-hmm.
re signed his contract that we never thought he would do, but he is back and back for a few more years. So, let me ask you this, Doug, and our listeners. Is he the guy? Is he the guy that's going to get Disney back in the right direction?
I hope so because right now he's the only guy because he seems like he's really bad at passing the baton. You know what makes a relay win? Good baton passes.
That's
And
true.
he has stunk it up with finding an apprentice.
And
I
that is true.
like I mean come on. Sith lords are better at finding apprentices.
You know what? I understood that reference. I like that one. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob Chapek was not the guy. Like, I don't know if there's anyone out there listening to this show to be like, I think Bob Chapek was the guy and just, mistreat. No, he swung and missed so
He
bad.
was so bad with Hollywood. So it wasn't even the parks that Chapek really messed up because a lot of the stuff that came into the parks under Chapek's time was precursed by Iger and
Yep.
impacted by COVID. So
Hmm.
like there's a lot I'm willing to give him a pass on. However, he's horrible at like what he says to the public, right?
Yep.
He does it's like there's media people that are like, "Oh my gosh, he did that again." And then on the other end, he like did not know how to deal with Hollywood at all. And at the end of the day, Walt Disney's, you know, the company is a movie studio
Yep.
first.
Media company.
That it's a media company. You got to take care of Hollywood first because the theme parks also depend on what Hollywood puts out.
Yep. Gives them
That's
IPs to put in the park.
I so there you go. I don't know what was the question. Did I answer it or
You
was
kind
I
of did. So Bob Iger is signed till 2026, I believe it is.
yeah,
Uh,
it's ugh.
that's a couple more years down the road. I thought it was going to be like 2 years transition to someone. I honestly, I thought it was going to be Josh tomorrow that was going to be taking over. A lot of people did. He might not be the guy either. So, what do you think the appropriate and next steps to set a direction, like especially to give you, me, and the fans something to look forward to? What does Bob need to be doing right now?
Well, he needs to. So they made some announcements that there's changes coming to Genie Plus come January, right? And I think a lot of it is going to be pre-booking Genie Plus. So I think one thing they could do to make it look like they have a direction and they care, and just be open and honest and be like, Genie Plus was not a hit.
Yep.
Starting January 1st, 10th, 15th, we're going to roll out Fast Pass Plus, but you pay for it this time. It's the same system, but you pay for it. I think that would be a good show of direction. Like, we're listening. They're planning on going to your pre-book, which part of the complaint about Fast Pass Plus was, oh, I have to plan everything. I don't like planning. Well, guess what? Everybody complained about Genie Plus because I have to get up and do it day of. So I don't know which makes everybody happy, but they need to pick a direction. and go with it, because I hope they don't roll out like a half and half nonsense. Like if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going for 7 days and I can pre-book, 3 days at a time, I'm still having to get up and pre-book. Like I'm either need to do it for my whole vacation or not at all. But I think fixing Genie Plus, FastPass Plus direction is the first step, and we'll see what that is in January if they actually are listening to fans. I don't know. Everything else can follow that.
That's the big thing, listening to the people. So I don't know if I'm sold on Bob Iger anymore, but I will tell you what, I have literally ran into Josh Tomorrow multiple times at the parks, once at D23, like elbow to elbow with him.
Yeah, you
And
need to
one thing
watch where you're going, Derek.
I do. I'm trying to get around people. He has a
You're
lot
looking
of
at
people around. I'm like,
pins.
I'm trying to get pins. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get around a few more people to get, one more boat closer on Pirates. But one thing Josh Tomorrow was really good at is talking to the fans. I know some other cast members have spoke really highly about him on how he has asked their opinion on things and, what can we do to make the park experiences better? So I would love that, might not be this year or next year, but if Bob Iger and Josh Tomorrow was like, hey, we know we screwed up here and here and here. This is the direction. This is how we're going to make things going forward. We're sorry. But instead, like sometimes Disney's just, they don't even apologize. They're just like, hey, Harmonious, that we don't even talk about it anymore. What? It's Epcot forever again.
Right.
Yeah.
This is back.
Yeah. We're going backwards. Oh, we're going back to happily ever after. We
We're
don't
going
even
to use
forget it. We
our
don't even talk about the other one.
temporary show again.
Yes.
Like, that's sad.
It is, and it's really frustrating as a fan to be able to see this and to tell people that Disney has a clear direction. They don't.
No,
Nope.
they do not. And I don't know if Iger's the guy, but he needs to find the guy. And it's almost
Doug and I are the
Disney.
guys.
We are.
Yep.
Either they need to let the person that's running the parks actually run the parks, and the CEO needs to be a little more hands off and just say yes to things. Like, yes, give them the money to operate rather than stealing from the park's profits and putting them in everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then they need somebody to run the studios. And like, it shouldn't have to be the same person, but I think that's what Chapek tried to do.
Yep.
Was run both entities hands on. And it's just two different things. And they're
It is.
both
I'm actually
super
going to.
important.
I'm going to move like our list up a little bit. So I know I want to talk about movies flopping, Doug. I
Oh,
mean
okay.
that's not helping right now.
No, and okay. First of all, just a little Elementals. It did not flop though.
Yeah.
It's now like the second highest grossing Pixar movie of all time because it destroyed everything overseas. So
Mm-hmm.
America needs to get their head. I don't understand. They went to the theaters a month later for Barbie and Oppenheimer, but we didn't go for Elementals. I thought it was good. I saw it on the cruise ship, right?
I've not
I
seen
thought
any of the movies I've gotten lazy with movies. I'm like, I can,
you haven't
my,
even seen Indiana Jones. You are
and
not a real fan.
I know. Stop saying that. It upsets me. I have
Derek's
an
not a
Indiana Jones
fan.
poster right over my shoulder.
He's not a fan.
I The problem is that I think Disney Plus did such a good job during the pandemic, making
Mhm.
me want to wait for movies to come on Disney Plus. I have a home theater system in my basement. It is really nice. I can save $50 by just waiting 3 months to watch them here. I can pause. I can make my own popcorn, and something about that has made me want to wait. And I think that is something that Disney buried themselves in a little bit during the pandemic. That I don't
But
know how
all the
they
studios did it. I
they
was
did.
watching Warner Brothers on HBO, Paramount on HBO, Universal is also on HBO right away. Yeah, Stars had. I don't know. They're all going straight to streaming.
Yeah.
So why is it Disney that seems to be punished the most by it? Because it's animation and people don't care about their kids.
Or they just don't want to take their kids to the movie theater anymore to spend that extra revenue.
I don't know.
It's a good question. It's one that I'm wondering from our listeners because yeah, that is something that Disney has struggled with lately. I mean, the Haunted Mansion movie is not doing as well as they thought.
I
Also should have
mean,
came out in October.
there's a lot there. I think the release date's the biggest issue. I think you
Yes.
put it out October. It
But
does
it's going to come
fine.
out in October for Disney Plus. I'm going to host
We
a
don't know
party
the
at my
date
house.
yet.
I know it's going to be around the
It's going to be
fall,
November 5th or something.
probably just to upset us.
Just because
Yeah.
it'd be the dumbest day to
Oh my
release.
gosh, it would
If
be.
it comes
So
out in
hopefully it
November, they
comes out.
deserve to be
Oh
fired.
my, please, yes. So if it comes out in October, I'm gonna host a party at my house. But like that's just Disney marketing or just understanding their properties. I feel like it's just been a swing and a miss lately.
Yeah, I think the timing of things, and I know the movie schedule is a very complicated jigsaw puzzle they're
Yep.
putting together, but they should have put some priority on Haunted Mansion coming out in October. And if they couldn't have done an early October, late September release in 2023, you shelve the movie until 2024.
Hmm.
They've done it before,
Yep.
they'll do it again. And to be honest, it would have been a good idea to shelve something for the theaters in 2024, because if other things don't get resolved, it's going to be very, very sad in about a year.
Yeah. That's right. So yeah, the writer's strike and Bob Iger are not helping each other right now. That's for sure.
No, no, none of the studios are really helping
No.
with that, are
We
they?
talk about
No,
this now, and things are gonna, help each other out. Sometimes that happens on this show.
that's what we
This
do.
episode's gonna come out, and they'll be like, "Hey, we solved all the strikes."
The streaming thing, we love the streaming, right, as
Yep.
consumers.
Yep.
However, the price has gone up on all the different platforms for streaming, to where now it costs more than just having cable to have all the right streaming. However, there's like, the one or two shows on each platform
Yep.
that you want. So just getting cable doesn't get you the Mandalorian on like Disney Channel, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you still stuck streaming it. Like, revenues, like streaming revenue is just not what they thought it would be. So I would like for the studios to all just give up on streaming. Let streaming just be catalog stuff, nothing new. Put new stuff on cable. Let's go back to the old system, people. It would actually be better for a lot of things.
Maybe.
Wow, I sound
It's
like an old man. Get
You
off my
do,
lawn.
really
But
do.
that's honestly right now, that's what would fix the problem.
I just got rid of my HBO Max or just Max, and I'm like, "Oh, when
Game
Dragon
of
season
Thrones.
2 comes out,
Yeah.
yeah, then I'll get it again."
Yeah. That's a solid decision.
So, going back to the parks, you can
Oh,
always
that.
tell the direction. Yeah, I'm gonna circle back. I hate
Yeah,
that term.
good.
So, going back to the parks, you can always tell directions by, where the walls are going up, where construction crews are happening. So, let's go through all the parks and see what Disney's direction is. So, Animal Kingdom, the last big thing came out. Avatar,
Mhm.
almost a decade
It's
ago.
as old as our podcast.
It is because that was our first podcast trip.
Mhm,
I'll always
mhm.
remember that. Cherish those
So it's
memories.
6 years ago when that opened. Because
And nothing
we
else has happened.
right, we podcast for a year, and then we went the
Yep.
week after
Something
Avatar
like
opened.
that. Yep.
Yeah, so, like, when they wrap up all the dust settles on Epcot getting their splash pad, um, in a new character meet and greet building, then we can focus on Animal Kingdom. They need to announce something,
They
and
should
they
have
better
announced
do it
something at
soon.
D23 because
And
it it takes
right?
forever for Disney to build things.
And so,
It's gonna be a decade before a new attraction opens up at Animal Kingdom, and that's a problem. That's a lack of
right.
direction.
And I guarantee you it's Zootopia. They're going to take it from, was it Hong Kong? It's
Yeah.
getting Zootopia. Just do it. It's clone. Just clone it in. I don't care
Yep.
at this point. Do something. Um, because just, sorry, Dino Land. I love you. Dino Land knows I love it, right? Like, I
They
know I
do.
love the
But
theming.
that
I mean, they
dinosaur
even
ride
have the
is stuck
parking
in the
lot lines on the ground. It's
They do,
fantastic
it's
theming.
great, but dinosaur that still has the 4 by 3 old school SD TV. No, it time for an update, a grade.
Yeah, and so just throw Zootopia in there. I don't know why they mentioned Zootopia slash Moana.
Yeah,
That's just
that was
weird.
weird.
Just do Zootopia. We don't need Moana there. We got Journeyed Water. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, we're gonna
Look,
talk
you
about that
can
in a
learn about water.
second.
Oh, great.
I know, that was a big piece of this. That's a
But
huge direction.
they better announce something soon, I think is what we're both saying, right?
Yes, Animal Kingdom. A decade without a new attraction, that's ridiculous. That's a lack of direction and a lack of care of that park.
And then after that, we need Hollywood Studios got to get something. That's how long it's
There
take.
you go.
It's kind of like the big road projects. Like, well, by the time they finish the road project, they're
I don't
going
know,
to
there's
be
like
repairing the
9
beginning of
people
it.
who work on things anymore, construction side.
Well, there's other reasons why there's no construction workers in Florida right now, but
There's some political drama, that's
that's a
for
lot of
sure.
drama.
So
Ooh.
But yeah, Hollywood Studios, they did get some good upgrades with Toy Story
They
and
did.
Galaxy's Edge. We'll be doing an in-depth Star Wars Disney direction here coming soon that I wrote and I'm
Hmm.
excited for. But Hollywood Studios does not really have any construction walls right now, Doug.
No,
It
it's gonna
needs
take
some.
till after. Um, yeah, they need to fix the animation courtyard, do something.
Exactly. I had that written down. Yes.
Frustrating.
Little
And
Mermaid,
also,
how is that still closed?
I hear black mold,
I did actually hear that. Yeah, I'm glad you saw
which
that.
if there's black mold in there, like bulldozers, just
Yes.
get them out, just
And there's
bulldoze
new
it and at
space.
least pave it and make it put benches. I mean,
Ooh, good stroller
literally,
parking.
right? There's
Yeah.
no reason to just leave a building that is essentially condemned
Yeah.
because they can't. They're not gonna gut
And
it
there's so much
and
room
keep
over
it.
by Star Wars area in that it's
Yeah.
just like you can expand that. There's so much wasted space in Hollywood studios, and they have all these like we have expansion pads for phase two that never happens.
I mean, like think of the World Showcase. I remember when I was little seeing ads for
36
the
years,
next
Doug.
a few years.
36 years it's been since out without a new showcase pavilion.
Right, and they advertised like
Next year.
Israel or something.
Yeah.
I know Africa was one. We got like a fancy sidewalk for Africa.
Yeah.
Well, Israel, something like that.
Spain, Russia, actually, weirdly enough, had
Yeah,
one. I don't know.
I just don't get
So talking about Epcot,
it. Hmm.
Epcot does have a lot of construction walls right now, but is it anything that's going to push people and show that they have a direction for Epcot? Epcot in the
No
80s is still like prime
unified
Disney. Oh my
direction.
gosh, everyone loves it. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. You went to Epcot in the 80s or early 90s, you know that magical feeling that they had. Does Epcot have that right now?
No,
No.
Epcot's a cluster of weird things like halfway fixed. Well, they announced all that stuff and then they stripped it back to the bare bones. And then, I mean, Moana Journey of Water, they had some cast previews. I don't know what to expect. Is it something that kids need a swimsuit to go to? Or am I just going
Oh,
to learn
those
about the water cycle?
Those photos that BioReconstruct has posted have made me laugh literally out loud when I see them because
Right.
it takes up a lot of space, and I'm like, "That's it?"
I think it's just going to be a lot of signage telling us about the water cycle.
Yeah.
Like it's
Who's going to book a trip for that?
no one.
Yeah.
0 people. And it's right in the middle of the park. It's
It
the
is.
heart
It's
of your
right
park.
there. See, that's one of those harmonious things where I'm like, I don't see this lasting more than a few
Well,
years.
once they put the big Stargate thing in the middle that
Yep.
ruined everybody's pictures, you knew it was doomed.
Yep.
Like that's not going to last because you're ruining the pictures. If they would just think about the pictures.
Yeah, because now I can't get a good picture from one side of Figment, which also hasn't been
Mhm.
updated in 20
The
years, give or
90s,
take. It's
yeah.
terrible.
25 roughly.
I know. So yes, they don't have a
Yeah.
direction of Epcot, and it drives me nuts because they have listened to the fans and they would understand. Hopefully, they're listening to this podcast and understand. So, Magic Kingdom, they just finished Tron, which took Carry the Two. I don't know how many years to
I
build, but it
mean,
was a
haven't you
long
had a
time.
child in that amount of
I
time?
did
That's to
actually, yeah. So
and now going
Callum's
to
in
kindergarten?
kindergarten. His first day was yesterday. So, yeah, Tron. We rode the train, and it's like the train's
the
back.
the amount of time it took them to build Tron, you were able to have a child that could grow old enough to ride it.
That's actually a very true statement. Wow.
That's
That's scary. That
yeah,
shows a lack of direction, also a lot of like lack the fact that they had like 900 people build Harmonious, tear down Harmonious, and like 4 people to build Tron is what is concerning about the Disney direction right now.
yeah. And like Magic Kingdom, I think is fine. It doesn't need a direction. I'm glad they added Tron. Did it necessarily have to have Tron? No. Could they have added something maybe different? Sure, they're currently in the process of the update over at Splash Mountain with Tiana's, which is
Yep.
fantastic because it'll be something new, something different. So Magic Kingdom has gotten the right amount of love and attention. It's missing that theater they promised us.
I
That's
wish
the
that
only
was there. Yep.
knock I
Mhm.
have there at the Magic Kingdom. But the right now Magic Kingdom's in a pretty good state because it's going to have the
Oh,
next
but it's
major
getting
thing to open.
the Hatbox Ghost is coming.
Which did we?
We didn't need it. Who
I,
cares? Yep.
I, I'm excited for it. Don't
Sure.
get me wrong at all. It's very cool, but how many little updates has Haunted Mansion had in the last decade? It seems like they close
More
it for
than
2 weeks
Figment, quite a
and
bit.
give it. There's new, like you write it like, oh, there's a new animatronic ghost
Yep.
thing, but let's update something other than pirates in Haunted Mansion. And they
There you
like
go.
to close Thunder and give it a fresh coat of paint a lot. Like,
Hmm.
I don't
I
know,
agree.
it's just
I mean, and here's the thing: we joke about how long it took Tron to build. In that same amount of time, actually less, you have Epic Universe that is
mhm.
being built, developed. They have a clear direction. Some of those bioreconstruct pictures, especially of the
Oh, the
Donkey Kong ride,
Nintendo
that
stuff.
Donkey Kong ride, I went from being like, I'm gonna go there in the first month to being like, I'm gonna go there in the first week. I've never been more excited. In fact, I showed my 5-year-old, the one who's, born before or when Tron was announced, he was excited and he kind of got it because he watches us play some Nintendo games. And so I am jacked and I will be there. And the How to Train Your Dragon, universal, clear direction, clear competition going against Disney
Yeah.
right now.
I will be honest with Disney and their construction and their project announcements. Like at one point during Tron construction, when we hadn't heard anything, and it was not, the skin covering wasn't on yet, and Samantha's like, "How long ago did they announce that? When is it going to be done?" I'm like, "You'll probably be in college when it's done." We laughed, but I mean, I was only off by a year.
Yeah.
Like, it got pretty close. You
It
cut it
it took
close.
forever. Like, I always posted the, Twitter picture, like, Tron construction update, and, like, it finally started getting some fun comments
Yeah.
and like, "Oh, it hasn't changed much since
No,
the one you
that's
posted a year ago." And
that's
we
the
do
best.
the time hop. It's like 1 year ago today, and I'm like, "It really hasn't done
Mm-mm.
much." And here
No.
we are, Universal, like, "Screw you. We're getting anyone who can swing a hammer to build these amazing." I mean, Epic Universe looks incredible. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
it does.
I'm blown away by what they're trying to do.
I hope Epic Universe opens all at once, not in stages. I don't know what their plan is right now. It could be stage. I bet Harry Potter and Nintendo open and How to Train Your Dragon,
Yep.
but I don't know that the Monsters Land looks as built out, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the pictures I've been seeing,
Mhm.
but it
I mean,
could be
they're really
phases.
pushing that Nintendo world right now, and it
Oof.
is
I
looking
would
awesome.
too. And I mean, I
That's a
finally got
hot
to
IP. The
watch
Mario movie
Mario.
just came. That's what I also love. Universal smart. Mario movie just comes out, makes $1 bajillion. They already have the ride out west. They're working on it in Florida.
They have
So
it in Japan.
they have it in Japan. So Disney's like Moana, Journey of Water. That came out, 7, 8 years
Oh, but
ago.
we're
And
gonna get that live action Moana already.
I
So
just
why?
who knows?
I love it. I love Moana, but why?
Well, yeah, give us a. I mean, how long did it take to get the Ariel Dark Ride from when Ariel
Oh,
came out? 20 years, and they kept
yeah,
working on it. So there's a difference in direction. I feel like Universal's taking a lot of, and they're taking a lot of Imagineers and people from Disney,
yeah,
and they have a clear direction. And one of the problems that I feel like Disney has right now is they don't have that Imagineer who is the face of the company. I say the name Joe Rody. 80% of you are like, oh, yeah, I know that guy with the ear and Animal Kingdom and the Yeti. And Joe Rody was truly the face of Imagineering. They don't have that right now.
yeah. I mean, probably one of the closest names is Kevin Rafferty. I
Yeah.
think. But I mean, he doesn't have a weird ear, so he's hard to remember what he looks like. But he did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I believe, and so I think like both coasts, that's a good attraction that showed they could take the park they were in and put the same clone ride, although it's actually a little different because of the
Hmm.
physical space, and make it seamlessly fit. Like they use the Chinese theater and the queue. The Toontown queue is a whole different thing and fantastic. So
Yep.
you need to do it on both coasts. But that's the closest that we're getting to an Imagineer. But like I don't know that the Imagineers get the runway that they had in the
Yeah.
90s that Joe Rody had when he did the Animal Kingdom. And also, I think a lot of them are busy over in Tokyo and Hong Kong and Paris, where they're building entire huge lands. Frozen and Zootopia, the Frozen lands look great.
They do.
Don't have that coming to Florida. That could be an announcement for, I don't know, Hollywood studios that would really move the needle. Or you could even throw that in the Magic Kingdom. There's space back behind Small World for Frozen Land.
I like it. So yeah, okay, that leads me into my next thing, Doug. Armchair Imagineer. That is something that we always love to do with
Hmm.
guests who've been on multiple times. That's something we're going to do in our
We used to do
Disney
that more
direction. I know.
back in
So
the
we're
day.
going to do it today, Doug. You are in charge of Walt Disney. We're just looking at the theme parks right now.
Okay.
How do you get each park, and we can break them down through what are you doing to show that, hey, I'm in charge and I have a direction for what this park needs to do?
Like a direction?
Yeah.
Epcot, I think, is a lost cause on direction. I've just given up there. Um, you just get it finished and hope it.
Hope
You
it.
just
No.
just call it the festival park. Just be honest.
Just
Call
come
it what it
drink and
is.
eat, and that's all we care about.
And yeah, like this, the
Buy a park
directions
ticket and
festival.
then buy more food and then buy more drinks,
Yes,
make money. Okay.
that just call it Epcot Festival Park and be done with it. So
See,
yeah.
I got to open another country. I don't think, honestly, I'm
Oh
at a point
yeah,
where I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I don't
I
think
think it's
so,
been
but
so long and there's so many lack of investors and the times have changed that I think we are at where we're at with countries, which sucks.
and I think we need to. It would be great to get an indoor country, much like Mexico. How
Yeah.
everything's inside, right? Sound stages
Do,
are huge. That's all
do you
you
know
need.
how big that would be? A big pop that would be at D23 if they're like, hey, we've listened to our fans, we've listened to our friends in name the country, and
Mm,
we're bringing it
and
to
rope drop
Epcot.
radio. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think an indoor pavilion would be great
With a
because
ride.
the weather, because it's hot and it
Yep.
rains. So give another pavilion where people flock to, because you know how crazy Mexico gets
It
when
does.
it starts to downpour.
La
Uh,
Cava, my friend.
People don't hang out in
I've
Germany,
made a lot of friends in La Cava when it's raining
right?
out.
Yeah. So another country that they could put all indoors. I think they should use the World Showplace building on a more regular basis
Oh, I agree.
for the festivals. When there's not a whole bunch of stuff in there, it frustrates me because I like there's multiple options in air conditioning and
Yep.
seats.
Yeah, I
I
agree with you.
I don't understand why they don't use that all the time. Um, that would be the direction I go. Fully embrace the festivals, and another country pavilion would actually enhance festivals, right?
Yep. Yeah,
So
I agree.
there you
So,
go.
what are you doing with Animal Kingdom?
I just I love Dino Land. It's my favorite themed land as a whole because if you've been to South Dakota, like Rapid City, you understand how just cheesy dinosaurs can be, and they capture that. And if you really get the backstory to Dino Land, it's fantastic. However, get the bulldozers out and just do freaking Zootopia and be done with it.
Yeah,
I don't like
couple.
it.
You need
I
more
don't want
rides.
it.
Like,
I like Dino Land, but just do Zootopia. And I know that people are gonna be like, but they're fictitious animals. Okay. We have Pandora. The ship has sailed.
yeah, the Joe Rody fought for no talking animals. I think we can't go
The
past
ship
that.
is done.
Yep.
It's and you can still all the conversations about uh how environments get along and work together, animals live in different environments. You can have all the different nature type of stuff.
Yep.
You can bring in the educational component of Zootopia, um, along with the social structure type commentary that Zootopia really is about. Be great. You
Yep.
can
And they're making a
edutain me.
sequel right now.
Yeah, so I'm okay. I've come to terms. I don't think Indiana Jones ends
No,
up
I
in there.
agree.
I think just go Zootopia and don't mess around with the other stuff.
Yep.
Or I'd also, I don't know what kind of attraction, maybe a coaster, but a way of water attraction would go a long ways to really, that park could be more than what it is.
I want to figure out something to replace Tough to be a bug, but I have no idea what that would be.
You know what? It's a timeless classic,
Yeah,
Derek.
okay, fine.
There's some
Movie
things
I've
that
not
work for
seen in
eternity.
20 plus years. Okay.
I don't know.
Oh.
Whenever I go, there's always way more people there than I'm like, how did all these people? Because you walk for like
You have to
10
walk. It's
minutes.
like a weird
It's
queue.
like
Yeah,
a
no, I
mile
get
and a
it. Yeah.
half. Yeah. But for some reason, I always get in there. I'm like, this theater's full. Where did everybody come from? Like, it always blows my mind. Um, Also, I think more organized character meet and greets at Hollywood Studios would be, or not Hollywood, Animal Kingdom would be a good thing.
Yep.
Because Mickey and Minnie's gets stupid long waits. Give me something else.
Yeah. Need a Pandora meet and greet.
I mean, why not?
I agree.
Why
Bobby.
not? Would it, you know what would be really fun with a Pandora meet and greet? Like you're just in front of a green screen, like
Oh,
with a
that's
photo
funny.
pass.
That's funny.
Because it's, I mean,
It's
it
the
is
same
what
thing.
it
You know,
is,
it is what
right?
it is. Yeah, yeah,
It
I
is
get
what
the
it is.
point. Yep.
Here, smile in front of this green screen.
I don't
And
understand why there's not a character meal at Pandora.
let's not get started on character meals.
Okay,
Dave. That's
sounds
a
good. All right, let's move
whole
on to
show.
Hollywood Studios.
Missing character meals,
Oh, I have a
episode
list.
400.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, we should do that.
Okay, we'll do
Everything
that.
missing. Although that doesn't help people plan any trips.
No, it doesn't.
Not
Actually,
sure
you know
we're
what?
helping
That's
right now either.
hey, newsflash. That is our Patreon episode tonight.
Oh, missing
So if
character
you
meals.
want to
Got
hear that, you're gonna have to, tune into
Okay.
our Patreon episode.
like
so, so let's move on to Hollywood Studios. How are you going to be like, hey, it's D23. This is what we're gonna do, and show that we have direction.
So the launch bay building,
Yep.
bulldozers,
Gone.
right?
Thank you.
And
Yes.
then and Little Mermaid is gonna
Yep.
get bulldozed because
Yep.
it needs to. And then we will have Pixar area. So that whole thing can be Pixar, right?
Mhm.
Monsters Coaster,
See,
something.
I was gonna do Monsters Inc.
I don't even care what movie, but you're doing Pixar. Do Elemental for all I care.
Yeah.
But something, maybe a stage show. There a Pixar stage show outside of
Love that idea.
is Finding Nemo, the only one we have.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So something Pixar. Remember the Pixar went to the symphony that they had when
That was
COVID?
so wonderful. You and I watched that together.
We
It was a
was
good time.
95 degrees and we were wearing masks outside, but it was fantastic. It was the actual symphony people and Pixar movies and characters came out and danced to
They
each
did.
song.
It's good.
Throw that in a theater with air conditioning and it's great. It's a way better filler than like the Mickey short on the other side of the park.
I love it. No, that we are actually in tandem on that one. So I agree with you. So all right, we talked about Epcot. So Magic Kingdom, what are you going to do? I know you said it's pretty complete, but I think there are some few things that we can do to make it better.
Right. I think the Frozen Land that we're getting around the world deserves to be in Florida. It's kind of a shame Florida, the flagship park, so to speak, right?
Yep.
Doesn't have that. I
Mhm.
think that's what it needs. That needs to be the next announcement for Florida. However, they're probably going to update Pirates next, and then they'll probably update the Jungle Cruise with like 4 more different
With
animatronics.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Right.
Got it.
We've been saying they haven't done that yet.
I know.
But they'll probably take out some newer animatronics and put in newer animatronics at the Jungle Cruise. And then after they do Pirates Jungle Cruise, then it'll be back to Haunted Mansion. So, okay, here's what we really need. So we need the Frozen Land. We need an update to Carousel of Progress.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Like so that people actually go and enjoy it. Right now, people go and then they feel held hostage.
Yeah.
For the whole time. Like the first 3 scenes are fine. The last scene is painful because it's like we know that's not how Siri works. You can't just say to do something. You have to say
it's gotten
hey,
so old that it's comically bad. Like we haven't updated this in so long.
I would say embarrassingly bad.
It should be.
Yeah. So it's time. Especially going to float rumors of merging with Apple.
Yeah.
Right. Last scene needs to be updated. Those are kind of the big things. And then electric cars, please, at Tomorrowland Speedway. So one big addition of Frozen Land electric cars.
Something where Lilo and Stitch, the ride was. Like that's just an empty building right now.
Yeah.
You could fill that. That's like prime real estate in the park. I do love the villains area. Like I love the idea. I don't see it ever happening because it's one of those ones where you're going to have to spend money like Galaxy's Edge money.
So here's where villains is going to land. That's where I put my Frozen Land, right?
Yep.
You're putting villains there.
Yep.
Here's what would inspire a villain's land. Epic Universe opens. Classic Monsters Land has huge wait times. They're selling something that makes them money like butterbeer, but
Yep.
villains.
Yep.
And there's a show that's wildly popular. If that
You nailed it.
happens,
Then we get
we will get
villains.
Villains Land.
Yep.
If
I agree.
if Epic Universe opens and like Harry Potter's busy, How to Train Your Dragon's busy, Mario Kart's busy, but over there, what's that empty area of the park? Villains or the monsters? Then we won't get Villains Land.
And
That's what they're gonna do.
And I feel like you've hit exactly something that, like, I've noticed. Like, Disney really loves to wait to see
They're
what is
just waiting.
Universal doing. Oh, Butterbill, like they wait to see, and then we'll do blue milk. But no,
No,
like they
the
want to
Fuse
know.
Brew was the initial reaction to that.
Oh yes,
Ugh, which I can't have, but I
it's not that
digress.
good.
Well, I feel like I'm not missing anything
No,
then
you
with
didn't.
their
But
stupid
like that's
mango.
that's Disney's direction right now. Let's see what our competition's doing and mimic them.
Right? They're gonna see what is successful at Epic Universe and
Yep,
then announce the counterpart.
that's it.
I just think they need to just get on with it and just do the Frozen Land somewhere in the Magic Kingdom. Or they
They
could
got
do it in
Frozen
Hollywood
3.
Studios.
They're semi working on
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I had to kind of read between the lines on the old Disney dish last week with Josh Gad.
Yes, also that was awesome that he came on.
I've reached out.
Yeah,
We're
oh,
one
he
of the many
hasn't doesn't wanna
podcasts that
come
said
in
no.
to okay,
No.
okay. Well, we tried. So,
We try. I
if you know
swing.
Josh Gad, let him know
Yeah.
that we're interested in having him come on
Yeah.
or any
That's
other A-list celebrity.
yeah. If anybody has a connection, let us know.
Yeah,
If you
if
are a
you are,
celebrity,
yes, please let us know, and we
we'll
would
have
love
you
to have
on.
you on. Yes.
We may have to define celebrity, so don't all reach out at once.
Or do, it'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be
So,
fun.
there you
Define your
go.
level of celebrity.
I love it. So, like, we're D minus celebrity podcasters, so
Right.
there you go. That's what we
D
always
minus.
say.
That's where we're at.
So if you're at least C or above, let us know. So there you go. That's the direction. What is it? And we want to hear from you guys. What is the Disney direction right now? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What would you do? We're going to ask some questions on social media at Rope Drop Radio on all the things. Because really, I think Doug and I and all of you agree there is no direction.
Rudderless ship.
It is. It's true. Like we could have done the whole show in 2 sentences. Is
Right.
there a direction? Nope. End of show. Thanks for
They're-
listening.
They're literally their next direction is so what worked at Epic Universe?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's what we're
Yep,
waiting
there you
for,
go.
I think.
So no bulldozers until then. So let us know what you would do as an armchair Imagineer. Follow us at Rope Drop Radio and all the things. And if you want to book a trip, please go to our show notes. It is a touringplans.com/rope drop. They will help you have an amazing trip with their incredible destination specialists. And so, yeah, definitely go in the show notes and do that. Leave a review so we can leave it on or read it on air. And then, yeah, Doug and I are going to go record the Patreon episode about direction and what they need to do for character dining. So if you want to hear that, click the show notes, support the show. Thank you to all of our Patreons. But for Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.